the longest caterpillar in the world. In the land of Wiggly Woods, there was a legend about a very unusual caterpillar named Curly. Curly wasn't just any caterpillar. He was the longest caterpillar in the world. And when I say long, I mean super duper extra mega long. If Curly stretched out, he could cross 3 whole playgrounds in one go. He was longer than the school bus, the teacher's desk, and all the jump ropes tied together. But despite his length, Curly had one small problem: he was terribly, dreadfully clumsy. You see, while most caterpillars might need to wiggle just a little to get across a leaf, Curly had to wiggle his way across dozens of leaves just to reach his favorite spot. And if he wanted to turn around? Oh boy! That was an all-day project. Curly's friends, the other bugs in the woods, tried to be understanding, but they often ended up tangled in his long, twisty body. One day, Beetle Betty got her legs caught in Curly's middle section. "Curly, can't you be careful?" she buzzed, untangling herself for what felt like the 100th time that week. "Sorry, Betty. I just have so much need to keep track of." Curly sighed. His best friend, a grasshopper named Hoppy, suggested they try practicing how to be a bit more coordinated. "We'll make it fun," he chirped. "Let's go to the obstacle course in Leafy Park." So Curly and Hoppy set off for Leafy Park, Curly carefully wiggling behind Hoppy. It took them twice as long to get there as it would anyone else, but eventually, they made it. The obstacle course was set up with fun challenges for bugs, a mini leaf maze, a tiny rope bridge made of grass, and even a little loop-de-loop. "Let's start with the loop-de-loop," Hoppy said, hopping ahead. Curly tried to loop himself through, but he got about halfway in before he realized, he was stuck. "Oh no," he called, and before he knew it, more bugs had arrived to help untangle him. Ladybug Lulu, Firefly Frankie, and a swarm of ants all tried to push, pull, and wiggle Curly free. Finally, with a pop, Curly flopped out of the loop-de-loop. "Maybe I'll just, watch this one," Curly said sheepishly. Next, they tried the grass rope bridge. Hoppy hopped along easily, bouncing up and down with glee. But as Curly started wiggling across, the bridge swayed dangerously. Each time Curly moved forward, the bridge groaned and creaked. By the time he got to the middle, he'd stretched his body across the entire bridge, leaving no room for anyone else. "Curly, you're taking up the whole bridge," called a tiny voice from below. "Oh, I'm so sorry." Curly apologized, inching his way back. "I guess I'm just too long for the bridge." Finally, they came to the leaf maze. "This one will be perfect for you," said Hoppy. "Just imagine you're a giant noodle sliding through the paths." Curly perked up. That sounded promising. With determination, Curly entered the maze, slinking around corners and wiggling his way down twisty paths. The maze was so big that as he wiggled through, it looked like an endless caterpillar rainbow, head here, middle there, tail way back near the entrance. Curly got so carried away that he lost track of where he was going. "I'm, almost there," he called to Hoppy, who was waiting at the exit. But Curly's head had just gone in a circle and ended up right where his tail was. He'd looped himself into a knot. "Oh, Curly," Hoppy laughed, untying him gently. Curly felt a bit sad. He was the longest caterpillar, but that seemed to cause more trouble than it was worth. But then, just as they were about to leave, they heard shouts. It was Beetle Betty, Ladybug Lulu, Firefly Frankie, and all the ants, calling for help. The ants' picnic basket had fallen into a deep ditch, and they couldn't lift it back out. Hoppy tried to hop down to help, but the ditch was too deep even for him. Curly suddenly had an idea. Wait! My length might just be perfect for this. Curly slinked down into the ditch, stretched himself along the ground, and told the bugs to carefully crawl onto his back with the picnic basket. Curly then pulled himself up, one segment at a time, lifting everyone back to the surface. The bugs cheered. Hooray for Curly, the longest caterpillar, they cried. Your length saved the day. Curly beamed with pride. Maybe being the longest caterpillar in the world wasn't so bad after all. He wiggled happily around his friends as they set up their picnic, knowing that even though he sometimes got tangled up, his length could be useful in ways that no one else could match. And from that day on, Curly was known as the hero of Wiggly Woods, the longest, wiggliest, friendliest caterpillar around.